Welcome back to another episode of Be Our Guest here on Musical Theater Radio. I am your host, as always, Jean-Paul Jovanoff. Listeners, you know, if I can help promote a show, help them to find a bigger audience, help get some butts in those theater seats, you know I will. So if you are in New York between February 10th and the 26th, and it's the year 2023, you should check out Hip Hop Cinderella. Today, we are going to talk to the composer and lyricist, Rona Siddiqui. So let's welcome her to the show. Rona, hello.
Hello, Jean-Paul. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. I look forward to learning more about the show. But before we do, I always like to get to know our guests a little bit, you know, for our listeners to get to know you. So in 30 seconds, the 30-second bio of Rona.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Raised in Southern California, started playing piano when I was 4 years old. Just always had a passion for music and theater. Didn't know which way I wanted to go in terms of music and acting. Finally decided to do music. So I went to UCLA, got a degree in composition, then music directed and taught piano for many years. Finally applied to the NYU program for graduate musical theater writing. And that is when everything fell into place for me. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be writing musicals, telling stories this way. Got a master's at NYU and have been in New York creating theater ever since.
That was 28 seconds. That was like perfect.
Yes.
So I guess musical theater was a part of your life then since an early age.
Yes. I thought when I was a kid, everybody loved musical theater. It was like so obvious. Like I could not, any theater I could find, I was just a voracious little, succubus. I don't know. I just always wanted it inside of my brain. So I would perform it. I would, find all the CDs of the new, just age myself, of the new Broadway cast albums, would love watching the Tonys, all that stuff.
Nice. Now, I'm always curious, is there anything else you thought about going into as a career? You had this passion for music and theater and the arts, but maybe was there something you went, if I didn't do this, I'd do that?
I did come to a crossroads at one point. I was going to work for the Feminist Majority Foundation as a liaison to Afghanistan and the women in Afghanistan, giving voice to the women in Afghanistan. And that was like something, of course, I'm also very passionate about, very much into sociology and political science, but felt like if I took that turn, it didn't resonate. I couldn't leave the arts. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
I couldn't do it.
Those are two so close to each other.
Yeah.
It's similarity.
Right. And I found ways to, weave my feminist agenda into all of my work. So yeah.
Very nice. So let's talk about the show Hip Hop Cinderella. Tell us a little bit about it, the synopsis of it.
So this takes place on another planet in another galaxy, far, far away. And basically the galaxy has lost its mojo. And the prince is throwing a hip hop ball, like kind of contest to see if somebody can step up to bring the galaxy's mojo back. So the stepsisters and stepmom are going to go, but Cinderella has to stay home and do the chores, so she can't go. But she is actually a rapper, and so her robot companion that she and her dad had made is her fairy godmother, gets her to the ball, and that's how she manages to get on the stage and spit her rhymes and become this new leader rapper of the galaxy. That's not the end of the story though, but I'll leave it there.
People have to go see it, obviously, to know how it ends. So what was the impetus to write this? What was that seed, that germ that went aha moment?
Well, this idea was presented to me by there's a series of musicals, a hip hop musical series that being created by David Kaufman and Linda Chichester. And they approached me with this treatment. And it was so bold and feminist, and there was no love story. And I loved that. And it was just all about this young woman finding her voice and overcoming the loss of her father. And it was so different and fresh to me. And they came to me in 2020, and that was a time when, we were all sitting at home in our feelings and thoughts. And this seemed like the perfect vehicle for me to kind of get some stuff out. And I threw everything into it. I just had all the time. So, I really put a lot of love into this show and this story. And I feel really, really happy with it. And also collaborating with a book writer, Scott Elmgreen, who's also just brilliant and funny. And we've had such a good collaboration.
Nice. So let's talk about this production that's going up, or has gone up, depending on when you're listening to this, of course. Tell us a little bit about it, the director, some of the people that are in it.
I cannot believe how lucky we are to have the collaborators and creative team we have. We have Christopher Scott directing, who is got so much. He's so jovial. He's so knowledgeable. He brings out the best in the actors. He really gets the story, and he always wants to, make sure that he's serving the piece. And I truly love that about him. And our choreographer, Maria Torres, is so fierce. This woman has been dancing and choreographing for the last 30 years. She knows how to tell a story. She's just a force of nature. So the two of them together are incredible. And I have also a wonderful music director who's just bringing out the best in the actors vocally and totally gets the style. Saul Nache, like, it's just a dream team.
Cool. Is it now during the rehearsals, has there been a moment where either the performer or the director did something you went, they get it, or you were just surprised and went, oh, I didn't even think of that?
There's so many of those moments, but they cracked me up the other day because there's this moment where the stepsisters are like trying to like rap. They're trying to like get ready for the ball and try to spit their own raps and everything. And they're like backing each other with their beatboxing. And one of them just started going, boots and cats and boots and cat. And I just was like, that, yes, correct. That is right. So yeah, they're always like coming up with stuff like that. It's really great.
And how did this production come around? I know you mentioned that there was the hip hop musicals from that team, but how did you get involved with it? Outside of it, how did they find out about you?
How did they find out about me? I think they just, I've been around for a bit, so they probably just heard of me and heard, maybe seen some of my work. I think David Kaufman when I won an award called the Ziegfeld Award, and he was at that ceremony and I performed there. And I think maybe that might've been his first introduction to me. And then maybe he did a little research, and knew that this is a style of music that I really, really love. So, yeah. And so then Amos is the first theater company to produce it. We did a Zoom production in 2020, which was so trying and challenging, but also, pushed us all creatively as well. And so then Amos paired with the New Victory, and thus we have this production now, which has just been incredible.
Was the writing of the show an easy one, or was there moments that, was a little bit more difficult? Because you never know. You might love a topic and all of a sudden you get to a point where like, what do I do with this? So was it an easy process, a hard process, or kind of just a mixture for yourself?
This one was weirdly easy. And it wasn't that there weren't moments where I was like, I don't know what this song is supposed to say. But it was the fact that I had Scott Elmgreen, my book writer, and David and Linda, the conceivers, to always bounce ideas off of. And inevitably, one of them would get me unstuck. Or I would get Scott unstuck. Or, it just was one of those very perfect collaborations where we were always helping each other remind each other what the story was and how to move it forward.
Cool. So tell us about the who, what, where, when, why, and how of getting to see this show. You should come. You should come to this show. You should come to the New Victory Theater. It is on 42nd Street. And you can, the website. There's a website, and you should go to that. Get the I don't have all that on my in front of me right now. But I'm sure if you just throw into Google the New Victory Theater,
The website will come up. You can get your tickets. There's a lot of daytime performances, which is really cool. So this is February 10th through the 26th. It's about 8 performances a week, and they're at very fluctuating times. So do check the calendar and grab a ticket. It's really, really fun.
What's the one thing you think people will take out of it when they go in and they love the show? What's the one thing they'll probably take out of it or want them to take out of it?
Well, hopefully they'll just have like a couple of earworms in their heads, and they'll come out like just like feeling good and bopping along. But message wise, for me, it's really about finding your voice, not letting anybody silence you, and standing up for what's right.
Very nice.
So hopefully that's
what more could you want out of a show? Right?
Yeah.
That's the perfect message. It's fantastic. We will be promoting, of course, this show on our website and our social media. So people will, even though you didn't know what the website was, we'll be promoting it. So they'll know how to get the tickets and everything about that.
Great.
Rona, thank you so much for coming on and talking to me and introducing yourself and the show to the listeners and the world. And, all the best with the show and the run.
Thank you so much, Jean-Paul. I really appreciate it.
No problem. We were just speaking with Rona Siddiqui, the lyricist and composer of the show Hip Hop Cinderella, which will be running from February 10th to the 26th, 2023 in New York City. And we will have all those details on our social media. You can check it out. Tune in next week as we'll speak with another guest or guest about their life, love, and passion. That is musical theater. I am your host, as always, Jean-Paul Jovanov. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.